Leon has evolved so much, and Colby's not really changed that much. He hasn't
Yeah.
evolved. You know, Leon
We haven't
went
seen
from
him
a
fight
guy
in
who
2 years, though. We don't know. We haven't seen him fight in 2 years, so.
How you doing, fight fans? It's Timmy Shoes with Inside Fighting, back in Brazil, ready for UFC 296 this weekend, and also a little bit of Jake Paul. But I'm joined once again by Jesse Rowe, our editor-in-chief. Jesse, how you doing, my man?
Doing great, Timmy. It's wonderful to have you back. We missed you. Never go to New York again because we need you in Brazil. I'm happy you're home. I'm happy you had a good trip with Luca. Let's talk about some combat.
All right, so just let's get this out of the way really quick. Jake Paul is fighting. He's fighting tonight in a few hours, actually. He's a minus 900 favorite. He's fighting a guy named Andre August, who is a plus 550. Give us your thoughts, Jesse. Just let us hear it.
Yeah, Andre August is no joke. He's a two-time Golden Glove winner, and he's a talented fighter. But I just find it hard to believe that even though he's professional, that Jake Paul's not going to have his way with this one. I think that this is sort of designed as a fight to boost Jake Paul's boxing credibility, to boost his chances of fighting for a championship at some point. Because I think he's serious about that. He wants to get a championship belt. I think he's dead serious when he says that. And I think that this fight is sort of designed to just sort of up his cachet. And yeah, Jake Paul the way, bet the house. Actually, don't even bet anything. Don't even touch it. I'm just letting you know I think Jake's going to win. That's all I'm letting you know. But you might be getting incredible high value for all I know on Andre August. I don't know anything about the guy, but I think Jake's going to win.
Jake's going to win. We've seen this before. Boxers build themselves up. This is the kind of guy Jake needs to build himself up. So it's a fight that makes sense. He's going to win.
Yeah.
I wouldn't bet on it unless you got a lot. Or you maybe just want to throw him into a parlay. Maybe that works. But UFC 296, man, last card of the year, and it is stacked. Look at this main card. There are so many good fights, top to bottom. I mean, you just pick one at random. Tony Ferguson versus Paddy Pimblett. That one's going to be fun. Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Wonderboy. And, of course, the main event, Leon Edwards and Colby Covington, that has lived up to the hype, at least in the buildup. There's been a lot of tension. So why don't we get right into it? We'll do the first fight. Let's talk about Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson is fighting Paddy Pimblett, and they went at it a little bit at the press conference. Right now, Tony Ferguson is a plus 250, and Paddy Pimblett is a minus 310, which is not as high as I thought. I knew he was going to be a very high favorite, but I thought he was going to be higher. Jesse, give us your thoughts.
This might be the weirdest one to pick because it's like Tony Ferguson, obviously he's on his losing streak. 6-fight losing streak. Paddy's on a winning streak. Paddy, he lost to Jared Gordon. I think everybody probably agrees that I rewatched that fight recently. He did not win that fight. I don't even know why UFC posted that fight on their, they posted the fights when they're trying to promote an upcoming pay-per-view, and they posted that one for Paddy Pimblett's highlight. I'm like, why would you post that one? That's his worst fight. He did not win that fight. I think that it's, I wouldn't blame you at all for betting on Tony. He just got over a training camp with David Goggins. Which is bizarre. If you can make of that what you will. I think Tony Ferguson's going to be in a position to retire tomorrow night. I think Paddy Pimblett was injured in that Jared Gordon fight. I think he's going to come back ready. I just think he's a better athlete at this point in his career, and I just think he's going to sort of out-athlete Tony Ferguson. That's what I think is going to happen. I don't think it's because he's like a better fighter. I just think he's going to out-athlete him. He'll probably backpack him and submit him, and then, Tony Ferguson's going to have to consider retirement.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Listen, Tony is a guy, I want to believe that there's something still in the tank, because back in the day, Tony Ferguson fighting a guy like Paddy Pimblett would have seemed like a joke. Like, Paddy Pimblett would not have been on his radar. Tony Ferguson is a guy who used to be considered one of the greatest lightweights of all time. It's really been a sharp downhill trend for him since losing to Justin Gaethje. And, there's that part of me that wants to believe that he has enough in the tank, because if this was a couple years ago, I don't even think it would be competitive, but it wouldn't be such a heavy favorite for Paddy, right? Like, I don't think Paddy is in the same category if Tony was still Tony. but that's the fan in me talking. I don't think that Tony exists anymore. So, I want El Cucuy to go out on a win, and he can definitely do it against Paddy. He has ways to win. I just think, Father Time does his thing. He doesn't have the things that he relied on anymore that he used to rely on defensively. Right. And I actually think Paddy said that. Literally, Paddy said that. Like he relied. I don't know if it was Paddy, but someone said Tony used to rely on his athleticism. Was it Tim Elliott in your interview with him? I don't know.
I got you. I don't remember. But either way, I agree with that. But Tony did say he's bringing the blades out for this fight. So let's hope he gets some of those blades in. Cuts Paddy open.
All right, so we're picking Paddy Pimblett, unfortunately, but I'm just going to throw this out there. Plus 250 if you want to throw in something. Tony Ferguson by submission maybe or a knockout. Yeah. Why not? Shavkat Rakhmonov, undefeated, UFC welterweight, one of the hypest prospects in the division right now, and there's a lot of undefeated, hyped up prospects right now. He was supposed to be fighting on this card with Ian Gary. That obviously didn't happen, but now he's fighting Stephen Thompson. Sorry, I said that confusingly. He wasn't supposed to be fighting Ian Gary, but they were both on this card originally.
Yeah.
Okay. Stephen Thompson, Wonderboy, he's getting these big fun fights. Jesse, give us your thoughts.
It's crazy because you said the odds, right? Because the odds are crazy. I mean, they are.
I did not say the odds. No, okay. That's important.
Yeah, because this is a massive, massive favorite situation for Shavkat.
Oh yeah, these are the kinds of odds I thought maybe we were going to see for the Paddy fight, but it's minus 625 for Rakhmonov and plus 455 for Wonderboy.
So, I think that you have to take Shavkat in this fight, but the odds are so bad that I don't think that you bet it on the money line just because I think Shavkat he's going to be fighting for a title like sometime in the next year. Like absolutely he will be fighting for a title. Him and Colby, I don't know how the microphone setup will be for press conferences if Colby's the champion, but I think it's a good matchup. Shavkat is incredible, but he was taking like serious shots from Jeff Neal in their last fight. I'm talking like Jeff Neal was cracking the dude, and the Shavkat was holding his head very high, sort of like Paddy Pimblett, just kind of like holding his chin out there. And he took those shots from Jeff Neal, who I do think has more power than Wonderboy. Wonderboy is probably the best striker in the division. I mean, other than Leon, maybe, like an incredible striker. I think Wonderboy will have his moments, but I think this has Shavkat finish written all over it. I don't see a situation where Wonderboy won't get like taken down or knocked down at some point in this fight, and then Shavkat's on top of him and this fight's over. So I'm going to be taking a winning method for Shavkat in this fight. I'm not betting money line. I'm betting winning method.
If the fight stays standing, Wonderboy can win. You can say that about any Wonderboy fight. Yeah. I even thought of a little crazy timeline. But the reason why Shavkat is such a favorite is because he's going to have an advantage in the grappling. He's younger. He's probably stronger. And, we've seen Wonderboy struggle against grapplers. We saw what Bilal Muhammad did. We saw what Gilbert Burns did. So, obviously, if the fight stays standing is a big if, right?
Yeah.
But I thought of this weird scenario because Wonderboy, he's doesn't have much time left, right? There's not more chances he's going to get. So if he could string together a couple wins here, do they give him a title fight? If he beats Shavkat Rakhmonov, he needs to, if Wonderboy wants to win as a champion or become a champion before he retires, which I don't think is likely, just throwing that out there, he needs to fight a striker because he's shown before he can beat these guys like Leon and hang with them and beat them up.
Wonderboy versus Leon would be an awesome fight. It'd be awesome.
It would. It would. And that's probably why I'm saying, just because of how awesome that fight is on paper. Yeah. But, I don't think it's going to happen. But it would be funny if, Wonderboy, he gets a knockout, maybe something, or just a decision because who knows? Shavkat doesn't want to take him down. Shavkat gets hurt. The fight stays standing. Whatever scenario. And then that happens down the line. Don't think it's going to happen, but it would be fun because I want to see Leon and Wonderboy fight.
Yeah. So you're taking Shavkat, though?
I'm taking Shavkat. I mean, a rough one for all the OGs. Tony Ferguson, I picked
Yeah.
against Tony. I picked against Wonderboy.
We could be seeing two guys retiring tomorrow night, by the way. There's a good possibility. So, yeah, but I agree.
Thankfully, though, I have a Brazilian in the next fight, so I don't have to feel bad about who I pick. Alexandre Pantoja is defending his belt against the guy he already beat, Brandon Royval. Royval is a plus 160, and Pantoja is a minus 192.
Look, this is a very good fight. I feel bad for these guys because they really didn't get much media treatment at the press conference yesterday. It was overshadowed by Colby and Tony and Paddy and everything. Just they didn't get, same with Shavkat, didn't get much on the microphone. It's a very good fight, very competitive fight. It's tough. I think Pantoja's in for a backpacking. If he's gonna, I think Royval's gonna be backpacked in this fight. Basically, is what I'm saying. And I think Pantoja takes it. And yeah, I just also I think it's also too close to call where I wouldn't necessarily want to bet on it. But if I had to, I would pick that scenario.
No, I like what you're putting down. I think Royval has lost to Moreno, he lost Pantoja, but he's got some good names. He beat Tim Elliott, he beat Shavkat of France. So he's a real guy, but I honestly think Alexandre Pantoja is going to get that choke again. I like the backpack. I like the rear naked choke. That's how he won the first fight. So I can see that playing out again. I would bet minus 192 on the money line, but just throwing it out there, method of victory for Pantoja by submission is a plus 120. So if you think he's going to win there, you're recouping some of those odds. Now, the main event, America versus the United Kingdom again, or England specifically.
Yeah.
Leon Rocky Edwards is a minus 162 favorite against Colby Chaos Covington, plus 136 underdog. Jesse, give us your thoughts.
Boy, this is tough. I think it's an incredibly competitive fight. I think the odds are right on the money. I think Leon is a better fighter than Colby, but I don't love the matchup for Leon. Oh my God, Timmy, I don't know. And I have my pick here and I'm so hesitant to say it, but I think that Leon we need to win by knockout, but I think this has decision win for Colby Covington written all over it. I think that he's in Las Vegas. The UFC wants Colby to win. I think we all kind of I think that might be the case here. He knows how to sell fights. I'm picking Colby Covington by decision to win this fight. I think it's going to happen. And I love Leon Edwards. And I think he's rattled, though. I think Colby really rattled him by going after his deceased father yesterday. And I don't know how that's going to play out. I'm just very worried that Leon's going to try too hard to knock him out. And it worries me. You know, it does worry me. So Colby by decision.
That's the X factor for me. It's like, how emotional will Leon get? Because he very clearly, that was real emotion. He got pissed. He just, he picked up and threw his water bottle very quickly. That was a genuine reaction. That wasn't for show. And sometimes that can help a guy and sometimes it can hurt a guy. And so that's the X factor there. But I like Leon in this fight because I know MMA math doesn't work, but I just saw the things that Leon was able to do in the Usman fights, the last two Usman fights, not the first one, obviously. Leon has evolved so much, and Colby's not really changed that much. He hasn't evolved. Yeah. Leon
haven't seen him fight in 2 years, though. We don't know. We haven't seen him fight in 2 years, so.
Leon went from a guy who couldn't grapple to the guy who took down Kamaru Usman in the first round of their rematch. Yeah. The first person to ever take Kamaru Usman down. So, I like Leon in this fight. I don't want him to get emotional, but I think Leon by KO is the way to go.
I love it. I want it to happen. I think it should happen. I agree. I think it should happen. I think Leon's a better fighter. I just am like, I just have this weird feeling that Colby's going to win by decision. Like, I don't know.
This would be Leon's coming out party. I think if Leon beats Colby, his star power is really going to rise, and he's really going to prove, like, Usman and Covington were the top of 170 for like 5 years, right? and he's the next guy. He took both of them out, especially if he can knock Colby out. It sets up a great storyline for Rocky, who already has a good storyline. But of course, Colby pays the bills.